Put on a Ike mini flip.
It's a little out of that. Good one on a frog.
Oh my gosh, look how big his mouth is. To be a 4-pounder, if that thing had a gut, that's like a 5 or a 6.
All right, everybody. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to One Objective Night, guys. We got a good show lined up for y'all. I will tell you this: we don't have a guest lined up for tonight. We were super slammed at the shop for the last 2 weeks, which is a good thing. We're very appreciative of all of our customers and all the support. But time got away from me. I never set up another guest. I was like, and actually, we didn't do a show 1 week because of it. It was just like so much going on. So, but now we're back, and I do have a guest lined up for the next show. I'll be doing that recording Wednesday. So. But really excited to be back on, talk with you guys about fishing. There's a lot that's been going on in the last several weeks between Bassmasters and, some a tragedy that's hit the fishing, I say fishing community. Anytime there's a death or anything like that, no matter it's kayaking, whether it's bass boat, whether it's bank fishing, whether it's, big major events to a guy just going out there weekend fishing for panfish, it's devastating. So we'll go into that here in a little while, and then also I just want to kind of cover some things about the fishing community in general, fishing tournaments in general, and and what I would love to know your guys' opinions. I know it's hard to comment on here, but you can also you can comment on our YouTube channel on the comments, or you can, email us or whatever. We'd love to know. But, and we're just gonna be talking about that. Are we hurting our fishing? Are we hurting our tournaments? Are we hurting our bodies of water? I don't know. I don't even know how I want to discuss it, but once we get to it, we'll talk about it, and you kind of understand where I'm coming from on that. But I do want to thank everybody that's tuning in. Thank you so much. We appreciate all you guys' support. Our YouTube channel is doing phenomenal on the One Objective outdoor channel. It's also doing really good on the bass fishing side with all of our installs and all that. But don't forget our outdoor channel. That is where all of our installs are at. That's where all our fishing videos are at. So we're very appreciative of everybody that's helped grow that channel and spread the word and liked and subscribed and all that stuff. It means a whole lot to us. And like I say, if you're watching this podcast show, that's where you're watching it, is on our outdoor channel. So, but I do want to thank everybody that has helped us out with that. Also, I want to thank some really great sponsors that's helped us out over the years. Phenomenal people, phenomenal companies. And, I feel like we have worked to a point where, we know everybody there first name basis, and they know what we do. We understand their process of business and how things work with them. And I just, it's hard to get that kind of relationship if you're kind of in and out of deals and pro staffs. Everybody wants to talk about pro staffs when you're in and out of those deals all the time, and you can never really build a relationship. So every time that me and James want to, really pursue a sponsor or have a sponsor reaches out to us, it's not something we take lightly. And it's something that I want to make sure it's a company that we feel like we could build a relationship with, so we're very, very fortunate with the companies we got. I want to thank Waterland Sunglasses. We are working on our 3rd year with them. I love everything that they're doing right now. They got some great, they're always trying to, come out with something new, whether it's apparel, whether it's new lenses, whether it's new frames, different design frames, but like I say, great company to work with. Make sure you go check them out. Waterland Sunglasses. And we got a link down below here where you can save yourselves 15% on your next order. And I'm telling you what, you won't regret what we've loved them. And I know they got great customer service. So if you have any issues, they're willing to help you out. So also I want to thank Missile Baits, great company as well. John and Alex and all of them guys, Byron, all of them have been phenomenal people to work with, and they're getting very creative. They got some new things that will be coming out at ICast. Make sure you some special colors they're going to be doing on the spunk shad. They got just some new stuff, something different. So make sure you go check out Missile Baits. Go on their Facebook page and check out what they're going to have releasing for ICast week, because that's where we're at. We're at ICast week. So also I want to thank Amped Outdoors. They've never let us down, whether my power's out in my house, on my kayak, on my bass boat, you name it, they got it. And they are phenomenal batteries, got a great warranty on them. And I'm telling you, they're not going to let you down. They do really well. So make sure you go check out those companies to support us. So let's support them, guys. Like I say, also, I covered just a second ago. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the like button, share it with your friends. But guys, let's kind of dig into this show. Let's dig in and start talking about a few things that's on my chest. I didn't even know how I was going to title this. So when you see it up, it took me some time to think about how I was going to title this. So, and it's just, like I said, I didn't have nobody on the show, and I was just really thinking, I'm like, man, am I going to do a podcast show this week? I'm like, I really need to. I got some things on my chest that I always want to talk about. And, I think one of them is really important. And, the funny thing is I catch so much slack for it. People actually take time out of their day to comment on a video or a podcast where I go over this. I mean, it irritates them so much that we say, hey, you need to wear your life vest when you get on the water. And now I will say this, I'm bad about it in my bass boat when I'm fishing, where I take my PFD off while I'm up there fishing. I always wear it when I'm running down the lake. Always wear it when I'm running down the lake. I think it's important because you never know, especially with a bass boat, something get away from you, throw you out the boat, hit your head. You see so many accidents on YouTube and the shorts and all that stuff. I mean, anything can happen where the steering system goes and shoot you to the bank. It's always good to have your life vest on. And the fishing community lost an angler. I did not know them personally. I didn't know him at all, actually. But I know there's people that do know him, and he's someone's, son, someone's friend, someone's, brother's, whatever, dad. I don't know him, but he was out fishing on Santee Cooper, and a fisherman come up and found his kayak with his PFD strapped to his seat, which does you no good when it's strapped to your seat. And all his gear was in there. And luckily, from what I was reading from the story, they was able to find him by tracing down his last ping, I guess, on his cell phone, which they can also use the graph, from what I understood, to go back and see where, possibly where he was last seen or been moving with or whatever, But anyways, his kayak looked like it was cracked, and, anything could happen. It could have cracked, and then it started sinking, and he had to bail. And we just had a friend of ours not too long ago, his kayak cracked, and thankfully there was another boat out there, and he was able to get rescued because his kayak was filling up so fast with water. And that's what I'm saying is you could be an experienced kayaker and anything could happen. The hull just fail. I mean, we're seeing that with these kayaks here lately. They're getting thinner, they're trying to cut back on expense. They're getting thinner. They're not using as much plastic, or some of them just start getting weak points after age, and it just happens. And, anything could happen. And the water is cold right now. I mean, I know we're getting 60s and 70 degrees days, but it's taken a while for the water to warm up. And 50-degree water, I mean, hypothermia can kick in quick. And if you're not a strong swimmer, whether you are or not, it just makes it that much worse. So I want to tell you guys, 100%, you got family always at home waiting for you to come back from your day out on the water, the day that you're going out to kind of relax and take your mind off the world, and you go out there and have an accident, and now you got people grieving because of something so simple. And it really makes me mad when I get people that message and are mad saying, don't tell me what to do, you don't tell me what to do. I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just saying be smart. And stop getting so angry about, because I say you should wear your life vest. I mean, I'm looking out for you. Anything. I mean, we all see it in the kayaking world. I mean, people flip kayaks out there in the water. Heck, a guy just did one not too long ago where he's on his Torpedo and was cutting a curve real hard, and it leaned and he fell out of it, and the boat was still going because he didn't have his kill switch. And he admitted to it. He's like, that's where I screwed up. I didn't have my kill switch. But he learned from that lesson. But it could have been a lot worse than that. I mean, it could have, motor could have hit him right in the head, sliced his head wide open. The boat did hit him in the head. It could have knocked him out. You know what I mean? Well, luckily people were there too if something would happen, but you still can drown. But he did, he did have his life vest on, I think, on that one, but he just didn't have his kill switch. So, having the proper equipment and safety equipment is key to this sport of kayak fishing and bass boat fishing as well. I mean, we should have our kill switches on our life vest when we run down the lake, because there's a lot of videos where guys got slung out boats. They got the life vest on, don't have a kill switch on, and there's a boat spinning circles in the lake, and someone's trying to get in to rescue the guy so the boat don't run over top of them, especially if it don't have a hot foot. But if it does have a hot foot and you still put it in gear, but you're not giving it gas, it's still idling. So it'll still spin circles and it can run over you. At idling, it can kill you. So, guys, just think about safety. You know, we put so much time and effort into rigging our gear the night before, that day, making sure the line's right, making sure the knots are right, making sure our drag's right, you know, the little things, making sure our graphs are working properly, you know, things like that. We need to be checking our kayaks over, for one, to check out and make sure we have nothing that could go wrong. I know we're in a rush to get on water, but to make sure there is no spots in a kayak that looks like it could be. Now, some stuff you're not going to find. Some stuff it's going to crack while out on the water. It just happens. But if there's little things that we can check before we get out there, it's definitely worth taking the time to look it over. So let's just, you know, let's try to go out there and return back safely to our families as we left. You know, just think about the other ones. Don't always think about yourself on those situations. Think about the ones, your loved ones, that are going to want to see you back. So, but that really, it just really chaps me, because we got so much stuff out there, man, for, you know, safety, whether it's inflatable life vests that make it a little more comfortable out there fishing. Mustang's got some really nice, I know they're expensive, but man, we're spending hundreds of dollars in graphs, hundreds of dollars in reels and rods and line. And, you know, think about a Megabass jerkbait. You know, if you spend $25 on a Megabass jerkbait, yes, those life vests cost more than that. But by the time you buy several of those Megabass jerkbaits, you got a life vest, you know. You think about what some of these rods are costing, reels are costing. I mean, you know, go get you a comfortable life vest that you're willing to wear all day and get in and go out there and go fishing. You know what I mean? And just throw it on. I know the NRS ones, they're nice, but during the summertime, they can get hot. They're kind of bulky a little bit, but they are a lot better than what the old style used to be. So NRS does have a nice life vest. Mustang's got a lot nice life vest. Onyx has a nice life vest, but I don't like them so much for kayaking, for if you are kind of wading through the water or something like that, or some days it's just going to be really humid or something that it'll make them go. I've had too many Onyx go off on me to really say that I mean, they're safe. I just feel like they go off too often instead of like the Mustangs. They're really good. They got that hit system in them, so like it goes off at over pressure. So it takes it a second when it goes into water, but it's going to go off. So, but I mean, anyways, there's so much stuff out there that you can do to protect yourself out on the water. And like I say, when the water is cold like it is, and another thing too, that I always recommend to anybody, and this is an app. It's called Wind Finder. But anyways, I'm going to try to pull up a map here. But you can pull up your map of your area. So like, I don't know if you can see it on the thing there, but you can pull up the map of the area here. Like right now, you can see where the star is. Like it's a little bit of wind. It was a little bit of a windy day. But this is something that you can go through and do like a 4 or 5 day outlook and see what the wind's going to do. Like right here, this is Thursday at 8 p.m. in my area. You can see it's getting greener. It's going to be really heavy wind, but it also shows you the direction. Now, I'm not sponsored by this app by no means, but I think it's a significant tool, especially if you're in a kayak, because depending on where you put in at, sometimes depending on the wind direction, you might not be able to get back. And you can put in the morning, man, it's just as calm, cool as a cucumber out there. And then all of a sudden the wind hits and you're 30, 40 mile an hour in and you can't get back home. And you got waves coming over your kayak and bass boat as well. We see what happens then at the practice for the Bassmaster Classic. Them guys were out there when all them crazy storms was coming through Texas. Some of them guys can't even get back to the boat ramp where they took off at. They had to get buddies to come and look at Trey? I don't know if it's Trey McKinney or JT Tompkins. I couldn't remember. I think it was Trey McKinney. He had to use his buddy's boat trailer. He brought his empty trailer over and loaded them up real quick, and so he could get out of the water. And it was a debacle. If you haven't seen it, go on Bassmasters. They got a short up of it. So, but you know, the weather app and the wind app, I think, are two key apps to have to always stay on top of. For one, it's great for looking ahead and seeing how you're going to practice, seeing how you want to fish a body of water, where the wind's going to be blowing up against a bank, or what's the windiest banks to fish that day. So you can kind of get a game plan together, but also a safety plan as well to say, hey, look, the wind's going to be blowing down here in this pocket really hard in this big body of water. I shouldn't be down there because it's going to get kind of dangerous. Or I don't need to go on a lake today because it's going to be 40-mile-an-hour winds, and the creek I want to fish is going to get just nonstop wind. So Wind Finder, I think it's several other ones out there that you can use to have actually the wind app built into it, I guess, or whatever. It can kind of show you which way the wind direction is going to blow, how hard it's going to blow, all that. So I've been paying attention to it too. We got a federation tournament. Me and my son's going to be fishing our first federation tournament together. I used to fish them back in the day when I was younger with my dad. Now me and Matthew are going to be fishing them. Really excited about that. That one's on this coming up Sunday. So, but Friday I'm looking at the weather. I'm like, all right, which banks are going to get hit by the wind? I can say, okay, well, Sunday don't even like it's going to be hardly any wind, so it's really not going to go into play. So there's things that you can use that app for, and also checking the weather. So, but anyways, that's one thing that's been on my chest is, guys, take the time, be ready for no matter what happens out on the water. Have you a whistle, have you a horn, an air horn, something on there to where people can, if you're struggling, you can try to somewhat to get some attention. But it's hard to even do any of that if you don't have your PFD on and you fall out of your kayak. So, no excuses, guys. I know they can be uncomfortable sitting out there fishing for hours, but I'd much rather come home safely. Don't even go if it's that big of a deal. You know what I mean? And I wish the law would be changed a little bit with it, but I understand that they don't. But, if you're taking the time to even bring it with you and strap it to your seat, just put it on, because it does you no good to have it on a kayak. Like that just does you no good. So, but thoughts and prayers go out to their family, and I hope you can get through this grieving time, and maybe it'd be a good example for others to know that they need to be wearing a life vest. So, other than that, that's where I'm at on that. Some good news: Bassmaster Classic coming up this week down on was it Ray Roberts, I think, or yeah, Ray Roberts down in Texas. I'm really excited to see how this is going to go. I'm excited to see about, a lot of these guys that throw big glide baits. I think this is going to be a slugfest of a classic. You looked when they were down there, was it June or July when they had to postpone it for COVID? Me and James went down there, and it was so much fun, man. I mean, I love Texas anyways, but it was hot. It was so hot, and that I don't think that lake showed out like it should have from what I hear, and I think it's going to show out. There's going to be some monsters caught, not unless the weather just really throws them a curveball. I think there's going to be some giants caught down there, and it's going to be a fun tournament to watch. And I know I'll be glued to the phone and the TV all this weekend. It's going to be really hard being out there fishing, and like the tournament not being able to pull it up. That would bother me a little bit, because I have been such a fan of the sport. I try to follow every Bassmasters Classic. I try to follow most of the events of the year with hit and miss, video clips, or I'll watch a little bit of live just here and there. But it's something about the Classic. It just really gets me excited about the fishing season. It just really puts things in perspective. It makes me kind of go back to my younger years where I used to sit there and watch it on TV. I actually was talking to James the other day about this. I miss how the old Bassmasters Classics were. I'm not talking like 80s. I'm talking like late 90s, mid to late 90s, early 2000s, where it would come on, and then later that night or the next day they would have day 1 and day 2 Bassmasters Classic, on TV at night, like on TNN, something like that. And you could go on, or ESPN, 1 or 2, and Tommy Sanders and Mark Zona and all of them are calling it. And like when Brandon Polnick first got in the Classic and they were running Louisiana and all that stuff, they built up the story. It was such a storyline to it. It was drama filled. It was, I really liked it, because like it was back and forth. KVD caught one and Brandon Polnick caught one, or, it's just, it was, they really built it up good. They really built it up good. And I thought they did a phenomenal job how they do it now. we're in a society where everybody wants it now. So like even on live, watching it live, I mean, there's going to be guys that sandbag, the first 2 days, and they come in, they weigh in a big bag. I mean, when we did media, you could follow along on Bass Track. Everybody could follow along on Bass Track, but then there's always, 4 or 5 guys that came in that you didn't even see on the Bass Track. And they come in with 21, 22, 23 pounds, you're like, holy crap, where did they come from? But then after that, if they're still catching them, the next day where it's on Bass Track and, they got a camera boat in there and it's all live. And so you pretty much know how they did when they come into weigh in. And I think sometimes they'll skew the weights a little bit when they tell the marshal to put it in or something. And just to, for one, not to build it up like they got a huge bag. Some of them are just not good at judging fish, but not to build it up like you got a huge bag. But, like when we watched Okeechobee the other week, Brandon Polling won. Also, congratulations, Brandon Polling and Bill Lowen on their victories in Texas. 2 great people that I love to see win. So, but as you're watching live, I mean, you basically know at the end that Brandon Polnick is going to win this thing, running back in, he's going to win. The only way, I mean, actually, he didn't have to catch a fish that day. So he already basically had it won, it sounds like. So, but on day 2 of the tournament, when they got the camera boats on him, then he goes out there and catches a over 30-pound bag. I mean, the only ones that don't know how he did is the competitors are out there fishing, but everybody else knows, hey, man, you killed it, And then when the competitors come in, they're like, oh, man, Brandon Polnick got 30 pounds. So I don't know. I kind of enjoyed when it wasn't live. I really do. Like I enjoy watching these guys fish and all that, but I really enjoy when it wasn't live. And then you could catch the weigh in on TV or on the internet or something, but like it was just when they put the show together and the show would come out, then it was like built up, drama. You might have known who won because you was following along on the website, but like how it all went down, I really do like that. And man, I miss how that was. Another tournament really sticks out in my head is when they were fishing the Bassmasters Classic. Casey Ashley won it. And, and Charlie Hartley was there and Alton Jones and all them guys were head to head in this tournament. And, but I remember staying up later watching the Bassmasters Classic, because they didn't put the show together on like night 2. So they had day 1 and day 2 on there or something. I can't remember how they did it, but I just remember staying. I mean, me and James was talking about this. We actually had where me and him got together and the wives and all that. We went over and kind of, ate snacks. It's kind of like the Super Bowl, we ate snacks and watched the Bassmasters Classic when it came on TV that night. I just miss those times. And I really wish we could get back to something like that, because I think it would just be really fun. And I know it's really fun. The hype is built up. But anyways, that's enough of me random about the Bassmaster Classic. But I'm excited that they're here. I'm excited to see what baits come out. See what $100 boats come out this week. This is when they always release the new model, what's coming out. I think Ranger just released their 19-foot or something like that, but their new 19-foot. There's just so many things that are going to be coming out the Classic. But what was shocking to me, and this ain't the Classic, and I'm curious to see, I'm assuming, you don't hear nothing about this, but I was just curious how it was going to be for Pure Fishing and them pulling out of ICast. That's crazy to me. That's crazy that they pulled out of ICast, and I understand why. I mean, people always ask us all the time, how come we don't have a booth at ICast? I'm like, man, we can't afford that. It's, what people may think of One Objective and thinking we're some big multi-million-dollar company and we got all these employees. And I mean, it's still just me and James. We have a guy that comes in and helps route a little bit here and there, one day a week. And then on the summers, it's our kids helping us ship and build parts and all that stuff. So, I mean, we're still a small company. So for us to go down and buy a, $10,000, more than that, actually, probably, I think it's like $15,000-$20,000 booth to be able to show off all that we do for some kayak dealers to come. Well, they can just reach out to us. We don't even got to spend the money. They can call us if they want, and we'll reach out and get some dealers here and there. And but most time, our numbers all over the website. They call us. Want to set up as a dealer? There we go. I don't feel like as a company, I don't see how some of these companies do it that are coming out with something new, creative, like a crankbait. I'm just throwing something out here. So this ain't for real, but like a crankbait with a bell on it or something, you know, like a dinner bell, like, hey, come eat me. You know, and not saying that I'm knocking somebody's idea of some of this wacky stuff that you see as fishing in the fishing industry with some of these baits, but I'm like, you just put a lot of money into making this, and now you're going to spend $10,000 to $15,000 in marketing this just at ICast, with the hopes that it may win best of show, but 9 times out of 10, it's not, because it's going to probably be a Berkeley bait, or it's going to be a Z-Man bait, or it's going to be the Shimano reel, or Abu Garcia reel, or you know, some other crank. I mean, it's always the big names that win these best of shows. It's nothing, you know. You did have the duck lure that was one best of show on something in a category, and I think the spider bait won something too. And it was just, you know, as a small company, it doesn't make sense to go to ICast, but for pure fishing to pull out, I can understand it. I mean, people think it's crazy, but I can almost understand it. They have all the media released before media gets to ICast. They shot all their videos. They're releasing everything the day before ICast starts. So the media already sees it. So once 1 or 2 people shoot a video on this bait, it's all over YouTube now. It's all over shorts, TikTok shorts, and Facebook, and you know, Instagram, and you know, it's already over. So now I don't really see where it's worth going to, really going to ICast much anymore as media. I mean, we used to go down there and we'd crush it on videos, and now it's kind of like, all right, and not unless you go in there and you say, look, this is This is going to be killer. We're going to go in here and we'll shoot these videos. We're going to edit them, and we'll have them up for 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? And you get it done. But the internet sucks down there, so it's really hard to do all that. But at least the Wi-Fi. So I'm like, I don't understand how it's worth it anymore. But it sounds like they got a new facility. They're going to be shooting all their videos. They got a heck of a marketing team. So they will save so much money by just filming everything. They can have 4 or 5 of their major pros come down, film some clips out there on the lake or in their showroom or wherever, and have all these videos up before ICast. The dealers, I mean, they got companies that they're selling these to that are distributors. The companies can call up, hey, I want to order this. I want that bait. I've seen it. I want it. When can I order it? They don't have to go to ICast to order it. And a lot of dealers wasn't doing that anyways, unless you're major, like Tackle Warehouse and Tackle Direct and all of them that would go down there and do these major orders with these baits, or might have exclusives with certain companies where they can get it before everybody else, or you know, any of that stuff. But I mean, I don't, if it costs you, because you got to figure, if it costs you 15,000 to set a booth up, 10 to 15,000, that's just buying the booth space. And then you have to get your product down there. So you're going to take a truck and an enclosed trailer, or you're going to fly it down there, whatever. It's going to cost you, or ship it down there, shall I say. It's going to cost you a fortune. And then your hotel, especially if you're going to have to at least have, depending on your company, at least 3 to 4 people. You got to feed them. When it's all said and done, are you going to sell enough of that product to even make it even? You know, it just doesn't make sense. So I can see where they're coming from on that. And I probably have a lot of companies that are mad at me or say something about it. But I mean, I'm a 100% believer. I mean, I love ICast. I love going down there and mingling with everybody and talking with the pros and the big wigs of the companies. And I think we still need to have some kind of show. But I think if you're going to make that a profitable deal, it almost has to be like, okay, we're gonna do media on day 1. And after that, 2 days of it is open to the public so they can sell product, because they don't sell product there. You have to do orders, and then, you know, you'll get it next year sometime or whenever that bait is actually released. So I don't know. I hope you guys ain't getting tired of me rambling about it, but I hope you understand that, you know, if you guys have got a jig business, or you got a new whatever you're making, you know what I mean? A new fishing rod holder or whatever. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to get in there and spend all the money and to release a bait when you could do it at home and pay to actually have it marketed by somebody cheaper than it would cost to go down there and do all that? I don't know. It's never made sense. Me and James have talked about this many times, and it's never made sense on the business side of why that's so important now, because this is so expensive to go down there anymore. I mean, it's super expensive to do any of that. I mean, me and James have done it just doing media stuff and have spent, anywhere between 2,500 on the cheap side up to, $3,000-4,000, depending on what you're doing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's expensive, and that's just the media side. So if you got a big YouTube following and you go down and you shoot a lot of videos and you get a lot of clips off, it might be worth it. But if you're, I'm going to say under 20,000 views, not unless you get several videos that hit 100,000 views, it's just really not worth it, in my opinion. So we might go again, maybe next year. We'll see how things go. I mean, Pure Fishing pulls out. You might have some bigger companies that pull out. I don't know. The fishing industry in a whole is kind of in a weird spot right now. It's kind of, it took it a little bit to take off this year, and now that's taken off, it's booming. But I'm curious because it fell off quick last year. It fell off a lot quicker than it normally does. So I'm curious to see how, I know it was election year. I know a lot of people were worried about spending money. So, and it wasn't just the fishing industry. It was the outdoor industry as a whole, like the bike companies, the, outdoor apparel companies. It was a whole. After talking with a lot of people in different parts of the industry, it wasn't just the kayaking or just the tackle side or whatever, it was everything. So I don't know. It's a crazy time we're living in right now, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go here in the next several years. But it kind of worries them too. Is like, what's next? What if Pure Fishing's pulling out of this? If they're struggling with money, what's going to happen next? Is how the tackle industry is. Some of these companies sell off and then they never hear them again. You got certain baits out there that you can never get again because the company sold out. They don't make it no more. So I don't know. It's like the Gene LaRue little crawl I was after for a long time. Finally found some, but you can't. They're hard to find. They don't make it no more. Gene LaRue's still around, but it's hard to find that bait. So, but anyways, kind of getting off of that. We went from the Classic to ICast real quick. But what I was talking about is I was just curious as Pure Fishing was going to be at the Classic. I think they will, but I was just curious to see. Okay, they've already made plans to be there at this one, but I think we'll be at the next one, kind of deal. So I don't know. We're going to see how things go. It's could get kind of weird for the fishing industry with what other companies follow suit with Pure Fishing. So, but anyways, my next topic that I had right now, and I'm just looking at this as Smith Mountain Lakes side, this standpoint, and I know it goes on in other lakes. Guntersville was a popular destination, for instance. There's a lot of tournaments that go on that lake. Lake Fork, popular destination. I'm sure there's plenty of tournaments go on that lake as well every weekend. But when it comes to bigger tournament series, I think they hurt. I wish these tournament series would work together a little bit more on certain things. Now, I know sometimes it's just really tough to schedule dates. They're just going to conflict with one another, and I get it. I mean, it's just how it is. But, I've looked at it on Smith when we were running series, and I was trying to schedule my stuff around the Basscast. Brian and them were running their tournament series, which he runs a really good tournament series. So I was trying to schedule my stuff around theirs. And then I just seen because he had a more popular trail. I wasn't trying to step on toes with that, And I know a lot of guys like to fish in it. So I was trying to have something a little bit different. Like if he did his on a Saturday, I would try to do it on a Sunday or whatever, but you try to be consistent, because if you do them every Saturday or every other Saturday or every third Saturday, you want to do it on Saturdays every time. Not, this one's on Saturday, this one's on Sunday, this one's, so we did try that, and it failed with that part of it. But so anyways, I always tried to schedule around, but every once in a while I did land on a Basscast trail, and I think it hurt both of our numbers when we did it. I think Brian didn't get as many. I didn't get as many. And I looked at this weekend, they had an English Choice on Smith Mountain Lake. And then I look at Fishers of Men. That was on Smith Mountain Lake. And I look at the list of guys that fish that, and you see them, they sometimes fish English choice too, but I know a lot of guys are going to go to fish English choice more because there's a little more money to it. But, Fishers of Men, they got a good program. They feed you dinner and preach your word, something I like to hear. I enjoyed fishing the Fishers of Men stuff. And I think Steven and them do a really good job running it. I also run the Thursday nighters that I fish, the USA Bass and Thursday nighters, and they do a good job with that as well. So, but I just feel like they are really killing themselves because, I think English Choice had 77 boats. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what Fishers of Men had. I think it was a lower number. So I'm like, that really killed it, because normally Sundown Lake, the first tournament of English Choice at Sundown Lake is big. There's big fish in there. It normally takes big weights to win it. And they normally have a lot of people. I think last year, I'm thinking of a different tournament, sorry. But they normally have big tournament. They normally have over 100 some people in them teams. You know what I mean? So 77 is still a big number, but what they normally bring, it was just kind of shocking to me. So I'm kind of like, I'm thinking about this back in the kayaking side as well. Is Gene Jensen and them have their team series, which is, I think that's a cool concept. You have Drew Gregory that has his tournament series. KBF, I'm not too sure how they're doing. I haven't really kept up with that too much. And then you have the Bass Nation kayak series, which Hobie's pulled out. So we know we don't have that one. And then you just have the Federation events that go on, which is great because it's a lot of people that can just fish them but can't travel and fish the big series. So I get that. I understand it. I like that. But I'm just like, man, there's so many big trails now. Like, no one can really fish everything. You know what I mean? You just can't do it. You got to pick one and go with. But it makes it hard when you're running for tournaments and stuff like, AOI, you just got to pick one and go, but I just think there's so many trails now that I think it makes it really tough. But I know there's a little bit of everything out there for everybody, and everybody needs options. I get that. But I'm also kind of like, man, it'd be great if some of these would just work together and just be like, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this one big trail, and the numbers would be so much better. I think, guys might fish Drew Gregory's tournaments because they like how he does his rivers, and some of the areas he's fishing is different. You know what I mean? So you're going to have them same people that's still going to fish that. But you also got guys that are traveling, trying to fish everything. This is all they do for a living, is fish kayak tournaments. And I think it's still, you're going to have, there's there's a tournament every single weekend, just about, and every month. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and especially when Hobie was doing theirs, it was really crazy. You couldn't pick. You either had to say, all right, I'm going to chase a Hobie or I'm going to fish bass, depending on your schedule. Because most people don't have the vacation or the PTO or the whatever to go fish all the time on top of family events and all that. So, but I don't know. Do you guys think that fishermen are really, I'm going to say killing the sport, but are we oversaturating our sport? Is there so many tournaments that it's oversaturating the sport? And I don't know. I really have a hard time thinking about it on certain levels, because I'm like, I think it's great. On the other side, I think it's tough on each body of water, each individual. You know what I mean? There's so many options out there trying to figure out which one's best. And I don't know, man. I look at it and I sit back and I'm like, holy crap, man. Like this year we decided we were going to fish the BFLs. And then, which we got one coming up in 2 weeks. I'm really excited about that. But then also I before the BFLs, I decided to fish Federation with my son, which that series is on Sundays, which after I committed to it, I didn't realize that. And I thought they were all Saturdays. So it's all on Sundays. So anyways, kind of missing that. I'm trying to think of my words here, but putting a lot on me there, but none of the BFLs are conflicting with the Federation, except one weekend where I have a BFL on a Saturday and I'll be at Potomac, and then Federation on Smith Mountain the following day on a Sunday. So I'll have to fish that, drive straight home, get everything changed up, and then go fish that. So, which is fine. I don't mind that. I actually kind of enjoy that kind of stuff because it keeps you on the water, keeps you on your toes. But I'm also looking, I'm like, man, I can't add no more. I want to fish some Thursday nighters with my daughter, and some Saturday nighters with my buddy Chris or my son. And I'm like, man, you start doing that, man. That's tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament. It wears on you. It wears on you big time. It wears on your pocket. So I don't think I can financially do it all, but we're going to try. We're going to see what we can do. But anyways, let me know what y'all guys think. Do you think it's good to have so much variety out there for tournaments, whether you're in a kayak, whether you're in a bass boat, or is it, do you think it's going to be a bad thing in the end? Like all these series are eventually going to suffer. What are your thoughts? You can message me on Facebook, or you can message on, email, or however you want to reach out to us. Just let us know. I don't care. You can comment down below here and just let us know what are your thoughts on the amount of tournament series that's going on. But then think about on your body of water. Think about, if you're in a kayak. If you're in a kayak, it might not be so many kayak tournaments. It just depends on your area that you live in. Smith, you don't hear about a lot of kayak tournaments on Smith, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's a pile load of bass boat tournaments going on every single weekend. And during the summertime, there's Tuesday nighters, there's Thursday nighters, there's Friday nighters, Saturday nighters. So there's a lot going on, but it spreads it out. And a lot of people fish the same ones, them same guys fish them all. But I look at that and I'm like, man, there's so many tournaments. And eventually it's got to wear on a fishery. It's got to wear. Claytor Lake, when I fished that, now there's guys that catch them up there, but the fish are so finicky up there that I always tell people if they can go up there and catch them in Claytor Lake, and then you see them guys at Claytor Lake come down some mountain and just whoop them because they have to fish so hard at Claytor Lake because of the population on that body of water that fish, that it makes it easier for them to come down to Smith and catch them. And it's a crowded lake as well, but it's just bigger. So I don't know. I see Claytor Lake can be tough certain times of year, just because of the amount of tournaments. And I'm really worried, like Smith and some of these other bodies of water, that everybody's worked so hard to build up to be a great fishery, like we've done with the F1 tiger bass, with stocking in there and getting the population numbers up. Charlie Davis and them just caught a 10-pounder. There was another 10-pounder caught several weeks before that. And then there's Charlie's caught a 9, almost a 10-pounder, 9, I can't remember, 9 and some change. There's several 8s. You're starting to see these bigger numbers coming back at Smith, and I'm really excited for it. But it's also one of the things too. It's like, man, now everybody wants to have tournaments up there. It's starting to stack up with tournaments, and it does worry me, like what it could do to a fishery that people's worked so hard to build these numbers up and get these bigger fish back in there. You look at Guntersville, for instance. Guntersville does still produce big fish, but from what I've been told over the years, it's been on decline because of the amount of tournaments that's on that body of water. When you go to the boat ramps, and boat ramps are packed. You have to drive to another boat ramp sometimes to put in a different boat ramp. So it's building up, and it's starting to decline there a little bit. Now, whether it's something to do with grass or whether it's something to do with whatever, I don't know. But it just worries me. Bugs Island's the same way locally here. There's always tournaments on that body of water. Now, that's a huge body of water. Now, a lot of it was due to a virus or a fish kill that was going on. It was a bad virus going around, and it was killing a lot of fish. But who's to say that, some of that didn't come from stressing or what? I don't know. I don't understand. I'm not a biologist. So I'm just really worried that we keep on doing what we're doing. The amount of tournaments that we have, are we really, are us fishermen really oversaturating their sport, but also hurting our bodies of water? So just let me know in the comments what you think. I'm not here to start drama or start a debate. I just want to know people's thoughts, what you think about it. So this is something we all love to do, and this is how we get away and relax. And I don't like bringing drama to it if we ain't got to, but it does make me think about it. I just been really thinking about that here lately. So, but shoot, guys, we're about 40, almost 45 minutes in. Our next show, we're going to have a good one. We're going to have a good guest lined up for you, and I can't wait to do this recording on Wednesday. I'm not going to spill the beans yet, but she's really making a name for herself in the fishing industry, if that gives you any hints there, who it could be. But we're excited to have her on, and I'll be doing some more updates before the show comes up. And I might do I don't know, I might do a questionnaire on Facebook on, hey, you guys got any questions y'all want me to ask her? Comment down below, and so I can put them on the list here. So, but I'm excited about it. It's going to be a good show. We're starting to line some more guests back up. We're kind of getting back into the groove of how things were. It just got so busy so fast that it just kind of got overwhelming. And now we're kind of steady and we're rolling. And I think we're going to be good to go. So, but I got practice coming up Friday for the Federation. We got some videos that's going to be coming out with that. We got James's video that's going to get released. If you're listening to the show already, it's been released. So make sure you go back and check that out. He had a tough day on Gaston after his practice. If you didn't see his practice video, make sure you go check it out. He caught him pretty good then. But he had a tough day on Gaston. Weather conditions changed on him, and he struggled a little bit. But he did make a little bit of change in that one. So congratulations to him on that. At least making, what happened. I don't want to spill the beans. I want y'all to watch it. So, but then also we got, James went out and was able to fish the Chowan River. That video is going to be coming out after this weekend because we caught some fish and he don't really want this secret spilled out before his tournament comes up. So that will be coming out here soon. And like I say, we're going to have a lot of fishing content coming out from the BFL practices. I think I'm going to try to wrap them up to where we have our practice video. And then I'm going to have it to where we have our tournament day video. And we're going to try to do a behind the scenes, vlog all the parts of it if we can, getting ready for the tournament, what's going through our mind. Let me know too, some things that y'all would love to see in our videos more. I mean, I would love to know, like, hey, is there some things that we don't cover in a video that you would like to see more of? So make sure you comment down below on that as well, because we would love to know. So, but other than that, guys, I think I'm going to jump off here. It was good just getting on talking with y'all, get some things off my chest and kind of rambling on, shall I say, about, how the fishing industry is, tournaments are. And also, guys, remember, wear your life vest. It's still cold. We still got a lot of windy days ahead of us. And, your family wants you to come back home as you left. So make sure you go wear your life vest. And if you don't have a good one, make sure you get you a good one. So, but other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video with your friends. And like I say, comment down below. I had several questions I asked you guys. Make sure you comment down below. Let me know what you think. But other than that, guys, we'll talk to you later. See you.